Hello my dear tamers, here we are in another video after 2 months since the last video I upload, I think. Sorry about that. As you may know, Regulation Battle is here for April only. I will wish it was 2 months, but you know, whatever. And the rules are simple: only use common and uncommon cards. So time to pick up the trash and see what we can find and make a deck out of it. So without further ado, I will just say I have like 10-11 decks to show you. I mean, the disclaimer is these decks are just a template. You can tweak them in whatever way you want. It doesn't have to be like this way only. It's just a baseline for whatever you want to build. It's an idea. You can start with this and tweak them any way you want. You can put instead of like 15 level 3s, you can put like only 8 or whatever, because you are feeling super hardcore and you like to live your life dangerously or whatever. So without further ado, let's see a deck. I will talk a little about them. I will not explain one by one because there are like 11 decks, so it's just an idea. If you want to see more of the cards, look for themselves, man. I don't know what to tell you. So let's go with the first one. This train has no brakes, or for any Frontier fans, you know, Groundlocomon deck. The deck is simple. It will never work in another format that is not this one, because the effects are not strong. But here we can make the best out of it with a collision and a Groundlocomon, since it will gain a lot of DP when we played it. In this format, we don't kinda go beyond 12k. In the level 6, we can get bonus. You can get, you know, plus DP in the inherit, but most of the time work only in your turn, not in your opponent's turn. So this deck can actually do a lot of damage if played correctly. We have Altea, which is one of the few tamers we can play that is uncommon. Doesn't really help that much for the deck, except for Groundlocomon that plays an inherit a card from the sources, and Altea can help us put something there. Also, looking at the security could be advantageous. We have a double searcher. We have the 2 Hagurumons to draw cards. Nothing crazy. The most important card to help us defend ourselves are Volvomon that redirects an attack. It doesn't matter if we are rested or not, which is very good. And on its own, it's a blocker. And the other one is Congo, that in this format where people will probably go more for numbers than a very strong Digimon. Anyway, let's go. The main strategy here is very simple. You go Groundlocomon and you destroy your opponent, even if it's active with collision or whatever. They can stop you. This train has no brakes. Moving on. If you don't like trains, you like dinosaurs. You want one of those kids. Therefore, we got the dinosaur deck. X8 Tyrannomon deck, but with a little trick here. We have double searchers with the level 3s. We love double searcher in this format because it's very hard since we don't have memory boost. We have to depend on them with Sunarisamon and the Agumon of X8. All our cards are reptile or dinosaurs. The level 5s are the peak. Here, they are the best cards of the deck. But Dino-Rexmon doesn't fall behind. Very strong level 6. Not only because it has Blitz, because also gets a power up, depending on the situation. Could become also a very important floodgate. I put a Tyrannomon of SOC here because it's a blocker for 4 cost, but honestly, you can replace it for Taskmon, whatever. It's not a big deal. Your most important level 4s are like the Dark Tynamo, because it evolves for 1 and has 6k, very strong, and the uncommon Tyrannomon, because it's the most important level 4, because if you start your turn with 3 memory and you put them out of your resting area, you may actually go all the way to level 6 and pass the turn to your opponent with only 1 memory, or best case scenario, you keep your turn actually. So very important level 4. The option cards, landing just landing just to give security +1 plus TP, very powerful. Gravity Press, also very powerful card to make a lot of damage in one turn. And Crimson Blaze, because people will play by numbers and they will play Digimons by effects. So we want to stop that. Crimson Blaze. Moving on to the next deck. A guilty pleasure dedicated to my friend Diego that used to play Hunters. We have the cheap Hunters version. What's the most important part here? It pretty much plays like the old Hunters deck. I will not explain how you play Hunters, but what are the changes here? Since we can't really go Arrestadamon superior mode here, so we have to compensate. How we stop our opponent from owning us? Well, that's pretty simple, with minus DP. That's why our Yellow Tamer and 2 Hackmoon there will be our main Digimons here, because we want to delete them by the... There is no protection against minus DP. Once the DP goes to 0, they are deleted. Finito, that's it. And even if they are high level and we can reach the DP, we have Sant 2-Armon to help us de-digivolve them. So if it has 2 sources, it already can de-digivolve level 6. So only problem, since we don't have a setter, we will depend of Amano U for extra memory, and we kinda need it because Hunters is a deck that you can do a lot for very few memory, but if they leave you at 1, nah man, we start playing at 2. We need that. Arrestadamon, you know, you play a level 3 for 2 by Digicrossing. Oh, sorry. You play a level 3 by 2 cost by Digicrossing, and you go into Arrestrada for free. You get you gain Rush, and you can keep going, but you need 2 memory, and that's why you need a Mano U. Drawing is the least problem of this deck because the purple bases will give you all the draws you need. The blocking is a little compromised, the defensive part of this deck, because we only have 2 Warmon for blocking. We could add other Hunters cards that have blocker, but they don't do that much for the deck apart from blocking. So instead of that, my suggestion is delete all your opponent's field and make sure that they can do that much, or they have only 1 Digimon to work with. So even if they attack your security, that's it. It's only 1 attack. Other strategy I see is you can actually build up and wait for the turn when you can do an explosive attack. Again, you have a lot of tamers, so when they attack the security, they will probably come up from it. You will have a lot of combat from there. This deck could be tweaked in any way. You can even play Astamon, so you can play a level 4 extra. You can play more Shoutmon King if you want to delete more low levels. There is a lot you can do here. This is just what I feel it's the standard build. Important cards I wouldn't take out. Chuhakmon, Opossumon, because it's another minus DP. You know, Ekakimon, the purple level 3s, and Arrestadamon. The other ones, you can take them out or not if you want. Up to you. This is the build I think it will work. If we can minus DP them all, we can plus DP our Digimons with the Green Tamer. So, Hunters, I don't know, man. Seems good. Next deck. Phantoms from BT20 is pretty much how the deck comes from the set. The only difference is like our level 6 have to be only Reapermon and Belzemon, and Belzemon is here also because we can warp from Aya Makoto. Aya Makoto being an uncommon tamer that can give you plus memory, and Belzemon can delete low levels, level 4s or lower. So that's kind of good. In a worst case scenario, if the game becomes longer, you can warp into it. Pretty standard. The most important skill here will be execute of Phantomon, so we can delete high levels that even if they are active, we can delete them because we have retaliation in Impmon and we have retaliation on Soulmon when it evolves. Violet is an uncommon tamer. Also, we can set it up with Bakemon, so that's super important in tempo. Not much I can say but about this deck, only that Reapermon is the best level 6 of this format. Blocker, collision, and when it dies, you can even delete your opponent's tamers. So, don't pass on that. Everything else, the option cards or whatever, are here with delay, so we can get memory and we can feed our trash or retrieve things from trash. And that's it. As I said, between Betal Phantomon and Phantomon, those are the most important cards of the deck. Reapermon doesn't fall behind, but besides that, the low levels are not that strong. Only problem with this deck, you are kinda if you don't have Reapermon out, you don't have blocker and you don't have any kind of defense, so that's it. But it can work really well when you start popping off Digimons. So let's move on to the next deck. Following the purple trend, SOC. Honestly, it's pretty shit because the only thing that makes the deck good is the Chaos Dramon because it has a pseudo immunity. Also, the Dorugamon and the Dorugreymon are the best cards of the deck. You force someone to attack, you draw, you discard. The Dorugreymon can evolve into Chaos Dramon for free. Also has a collision, and the inherited skill is very good. That you can play something with 5 cost or less. So even if like they start deleting your tamers or whatever, Cracker Fang, that is uncommon too, very good. We can kinda cheat the level 6 state with Dex Dorugreymon. So we have Dorugreymon as a base in the Dex Dorugreymon, and we can still play 5 cost or lower Digimons. I put Pharamon there, but it's more of a filler, honestly. I don't really feel it. You can put Reapermon here, I think. Reapermon is just the best level 6 in purple and black right now in this format. But still, Chaos Damon is an amazing level 6 here. The Hell Logamon and Soul Logamon are here to get rid of your opponent's Digimons. Not the best cards ever, but you know, they are not useless. It's a variation. And that's it. It's pretty simple. If you have played, if at some point you played Logamon, Takemi Kazuchi, or the old Logamon from BT14, you kinda know this base. And that's it. Nothing crazy here. The most important thing is like forcing your opponent to attack and maybe block them with since you have Cracker Fang that gives blocker. Also, Alliance could be very strong in this format since you can bypass to 13-14k of DP, and any blocker your opponent has could die to collision. So we got this. Moving on. Well, anyone that plays competitive have seen this deck in the last month. Red Purple Imperialdramon, but without Imperialdramon. It's just Red Purple Pyldramon and Dinovimon. Not a crazy deck. It's not a deck I'm crazy about, but the level 4s being able to do so much in the early stages is what actually drew me over to this deck, because you can, you know, Armor Purge, you have Retaliation with the Stingmon, arrest an opponent Digimon, inherit or in evolution. We have Raid with XVmon. We can do a lot in low level. Also, we have Double Searcher with the level 3s, so that's super good. Free type. Honestly, we can search level 6, but that's fine, I guess. And the one that I'm not full convinced, but is not, there is no other tamer that fits, is the NPC battle NPC. Not bad, not great. It fulfills its role. Nothing crazy. So pretty much this is a fusion of red-green Imperialdramon with the purple-red one, just because the red-green has better searches. Well, no, it doesn't have better. They are common and uncommon. The other ones are rare, so we have to tweak them out. Luckily, the free type is shared in all the searching, so I don't know. Here we are. Moving on to a next deck. A personal favorite. I love this deck so much, but I could never play it in competitive. Chessmon or chess deck. This deck could become quite strong because the mechanic is depending of the color of your chess piece, black or white. If it dies in your turn, you can play another one with the same level or lower, or if it dies in your opponent's turn, plays in your same level or lower. Good things about bad things about this deck. It has a lot of blocker, and it has a very powerful snowball effect with the tamer. That every time you play a dual color, you gain 1 memory and draw a card any turn. So you can even steal turns back. Main problem is it's very slow to kick off. If your opponent starts to rush their attacks and everything, you may actually lose your chance to actually start popping off the effects. In level 6 is when you really start doing real damage with Jumbo Gamemon and Queen Chessmon. The option cards are here to kinda help you in these special turns. Also, the level 3s are very good for extra draw and search. The only problem, I mean, it has this. It's very low at the start, but if you manage to have enough defense with blockers or everything, you can actually win the match in the long run. But if it becomes too long, you may actually deck out, because the tamer and the Chessmons, by drawing a lot, you draw so much that may actually put you in danger. So be careful about that. That's my only advice. Everything else, I kinda like this deck. It's a little bricky. Like, playing things directly is not cheap, and it's not an immediate victory. Like, the Pound Chessmons need to be deleted. One of the Pound Chessmons needs to be deleted to pop off the draw. The other one needs to be played. I know that this deck could be played also with black base, but I mean, almost the same card. It's like you go Junkmon, but the black version, and you can even, go Bakumon and Maki, same as other decks, to have another search or have more cost reduction. But still, I feel like the search of Armadillomon is very good, and the Kieramon is also very good. Also, the yellow cards, the yellow option cards, I prefer these ones to the black ones, but still, up to you. Next deck. Oh, same as Hunters, Xros Hearts. Xros Hearts is a complicated choice because it could be the best or the worst. The new tamers, Taiki, Kiriha, and Nene, are uncommon. Therefore, we can play Xros Hearts in this format. But not all the cards of Xros Hearts are uncommon or common. For example, the Sparrowmon is rare, so we have to use the one that gives collision. And in this particular deck, where we don't have a level 6, or we don't have the power level of a level 6, collision could be suicidal, or could be very counterproductive. So this deck, even if I like it, it has good consistency. It could be the best or the worst. Also, I went Kiriha here because Kiriha is, even if it doesn't help with Xros Hearts, unlike Nene actually helps here because it's not that helps with Xros Hearts Digicross, but Composite Digicross and all your Chessmon Cross whatever are composite, so they can help. But Kiriha give us the effect of the triple white tamer, that if we put something there, we get 1 point of memory. And this depends on your playstyle. If you prefer like to have a more secure Digicross, go Nene. If you want the extra memory, go Kiriha. Up to you. Also, I don't know. Up to everyone. Also, I put 3 fireballs just because in the slight case that anyone will like play one of those level 3s that doesn't allow you to reduce play cost, here it is, fireball, delete them, and if not, 2 draws. That is also very good in Xros Hearts. A deck that actually you need a lot of different cards in hand. I put a Canondramon there as a filler level 6. I only put 2 copies. You can go more, but it's just a level 6 that is there to delete slow Digimons in your opponent's side and basically make trouble. Be annoying. It's there to be annoying. Also, no one expects the Canondramon Inquisition. Evolves also from Omega Shoutmon because it's a level 5 red. Also, Omega Shoutmon, another great card to get rid of small Digimons. That it's something that may happen in this format. I put Shoutmon King there just because you can play Taiki for free, but it's a card that you can change for anything else that you may feel like, maybe, and the other Shoutmons that give rush and help a lot with search or anything. Again, up to you. This is a base, and the elephant in the room is Spadamon. Because the Digivolves, when you play, problem is cost 4, that's a lot sometimes. But the Digivolving is great in this deck since we can't bypass a level 6 or higher. So we Digivolve at level 6 and then we go for collision. That's one way to do it. Other way is that Spadamon has the inherit that allows you to search Xros Hearts cards every attack. So that's kinda good. Again, complicated, but I like the effect a lot, and in this format it may actually pop off. I mean, in normal formats Spadamon was like too slow. In this one may actually work. Also, again, my only problem is like it's a level 3, but it can't evolve from any of the level 2 or the Digitamas of Xros Hearts. Maybe it can evolve from the Pigmons that is red. If you want to go that Pigmons is also good. I don't know. I thought about this deck. The other Pigmons I didn't like it because you already need a tamer out for it. And since we are not having that many tamers, it could actually be not that good. And one draw is always good. So moving on to another deck. Personal favorite. I love these sea animals. What can I say about this deck? We have Yao that can be played from Chessmon, so that's a tamer that helps us with tempo. We have Lanamon or Ranamon, a card that I love. I love how it sees. I love the Digimon itself. I love the Digimon in a normal way. Yes, and it's a searcher. Sangomon, another searcher. Our level 3s have jamming, most of them. Great effects when they are played. Level 4s also have great plays when they are played. Great effects when they are played or evolved. Only detail maybe the level 5s because I couldn't decide between a Mermaidmon or Warosidramon. I like both. They kinda do the same, but you know, the devil is in the details. One memory here, one memory there. You know, Mermaidmon can play my Yao from my Lanamon. You know, stuff like that. Plesiomon is the standard level 6 from this deck because you play level 4s or lower. But Xianpengmon is so good. It's just so good as a level 6. You can almost evolve it for 2 if you have another Digimon to put under. I don't feel like this deck is anywhere weak. And to compensate the cost of the Digimons, we use Howling Memory Boost, that in this format may be a very strong card. I mean, anything that has delay in this format is very good, because we need that extra memory that we can get from Memory Boost or whatever. And Howling Memory Boost actually helps immediately with any problem we have, any dirt situation. My opponent plays a lot of Digimons, but they play them directly. I can stop them with Howling Memory Boost. They can attack, they can block, and next turn I will get that memory back. Pretty good. I will actually run 4 maybe, not sure. And then we have they are limited blue cards, Ice Wall and Hammer Spark, because yeah, sure man. I mean, who doesn't want to see a Hammer Spark coming from security or an Ice Wall? Just there, waiting for you. Just to mess up with people, we have a Modoki Betamon. We can still play things like Crabmon to get jamming and blocker, but this is up to you. I mean, I like Modoki Betamon just to mess with people, but again, the Floodgate level 3s are something that people don't play, and even in this format, because they just get deleted for nothing from poof. That level 3 is dead. So this is a great deck. I feel like I will play it because I like the whole C archetypes deck. So problem with this deck, there are not many other cards that could fit here. These level 6 and level 5s are kind of the only ones that you could really use. The level 4s are the best ones. I wouldn't use any others. You can go Sidramons, but not bad. I tried to build it in a Deep Sabers way, but it didn't work because I had the most essential cards from Deep Sabers are rare or promo. So I went for a full Yao deck. Moving on. The original Sin, Terrier-Lopmon, and Lopmon deck. The strategy here is simple. We try to use Alliance to evolve very cheaply. Advantage and disadvantages is kind of slow, but if we set up correctly, we can do a lot. We use, for example, Dino Memory Boost as a delay card to get memory after. We have double searcher with the level 3, so that's very good. I went here for like the level 4 is the only thing I don't really enjoy here. You could change it at will. I just feel like the Wendigomon to delete low levels work, but also I want to play my own level 3s that are from trash, so I can, alliance and do more. Also, with Wallace, even if Wallace is not a memory setter, when I play one of my level 3s that are now all Lopmons and Terrier-Lopmons, I can evolve very cheap. Also, I get the bonus of plus DP here. So, even if in a defensive way, this deck doesn't do much because it doesn't have blocker or anything, on an offensive way, with the proper setup, you can do a lot of damage. And I was, at the start, very puzzled about what level 6 to put, but Baldurmon and Titamon just fit right in. Titamon benefits a lot if your opponent has more Digimons in the field, because you discard cards in your hand and you can actually end up evolving for 1, even if it costs 4. Baldurmon, same. It has a semi blitz that comes with plus DP, so that's also very good. Since we are starting with 12k with Baldurmon, like going up to 16k in this format, absolutely crazy. since we have so many dual colors, we can play Heaven's Judgment, a totally not broken card, 4 copies, because, you know, wipe the field and nothing can bypass the minus DP. No, there is no protection to bypass it. So the deck is very simple. I went Black Rapidmon because having the Digivolve feels super good in a format like this. The most versatility you have, the more your opponent will be puzzled about how to counter you. So having a Black Gargomon, Black Rapidmon, Titamon could help a lot. I know that the first card I will change in this deck will be Dino Memory Boost, but I like that extra memory. It's kind of really hard to use in your own turn because I doubt that everyone or anyone will leave you at 3 memory. But there was no other option card that I feel like you could use to win memory without depending of your opponent's field. Dino Memory Boost is like you play it one turn as to pass, and then like, you know, the next turn you will have those 2 memory. Other cards in green like may actually help you win memory, but it depends of the Digimons of your opponent's field, and I can't really count on that. So only problem of this deck, the lack of blockers. You can try to do recoveries if you play the yellow Antilamon. I don't really like it. I would prefer to like go more in the offensive. So I make sure my opponents like, okay, they have 1 turn or 2 to do your stuff, and that's it. Now it's my turn, and I go hard because it's 2, 3, maybe 4 checks when you have a good setup, and then Heaven's Judgment. And even like if you don't have a good setup, like put out the level 4 out, Heaven's Judgment. That's a lot of damage. And for last, the deck that everybody will probably play, that is Etemon. Etemon is just very simple. The most important cards of this deck are the Etemon that force you to attack and the King Etemon, because it gives blocker to everything. So with that said, the deck could be fast, it could spam a lot of Digimons, but it's a glass cannon, because the moment your opponent disrupts your defense or deletes everything, you're kind of there like looking at your hands like, okay, I have to start all over again, and it's not that cheap. Maki is a great tamer in this format because you search for Bakumon, you search for dual color cards that are black, so almost everything except some level 4s or below. Cutis Kick could be a great card in this format because if you have Maki, it will cost only 1. Prime Memory Boost, also you can play all your level 4s or below and you get the memory from there. But as I said, the 2 most important cards of this deck, King Etemon and the Etemon that force you to attack. Everything else is nice, but it's weak. But the Platinum Nunemon doing the Digivolve is super cool. But you know, that's it. If you manage to work the tempo well of this deck, you got it. But you have to be fast, because your opponent will have strategies ready for this, because I just told all the strategies to get rid of little Digimons. Anyway, that's all the decks. If you think there are cards that could be used in this format and they are staples, write it down in the comments. If you have any ideas or any critics from any of this deck, also write them down so people can see them and say, oh, this is a better idea than this damn idiot in the video. So I guess that's 11 decks. I mean, at least you will find one that you will like. Thank you for staying too long. Give a like and subscribe and all that. And see you in next video. Bye bye.